I am very happy that we're here today for this very important event. Let me first and foremost take this opportunity to wish all a very productive and healthy and successful and work-filled 2024. In the same vein, I would like to say thanks to all who I think would have worked tirelessly in 2023. I think we had a very successful 2023 with regards to agriculture, marine resources, culture, and I'm expecting an even better and brighter and more successful and more prosperous and productive 2024. And of course, the challenge is with all of us. And I'm happy that the PS has been echoing the sentiment all morning that it is all well and good to have these glorious plans outlined, but it is more important for us to put in the work to ensure that these plans are executed, and not only executed, properly executed as well. I really want to commend and congratulate my friend, Mr. David Walwyn, as well, for that excellent little speech or motivation that he would have provided for us. And I'm happy that he was able to tie in the issue of health to agriculture. And one thing he didn't mention in terms of our health, I know he spoke about the health and how important it is, and in terms of agriculture. But I don't think he mentioned the fact that we must be healthy in order to be productive. When I came this morning, the permanent secretary indicated to me that many of our staff members are absent because they're sick. And if we are not healthy, we can't be productive. All these plans that were outlined here this morning by agriculture, by marine resources, by culture, they will go to naught if 50% or 75% of our staff is sick for probably half of the year. And so we see how important it is for us to eat properly, for us to be healthy, for us to come to work on time, for us to come to work every day of the week. And we cannot do that unless we have good health. And so, Mr. Walwyn, I want to thank you so very much for those very timely words. And I trust and I believe, I'm confident, that the staff here will take away all that you said and ensure that we have healthy lives so we can be very productive in terms of bringing our plans and so on to fruition. I also want to congratulate the ministry and the department for this initiative. I know it would have started a couple of years ago, and it's important at the beginning of the year that we set the tone for what we are to do for the ensuing year, what is expected of us as members of staff, and how important it is to be in tune with what we are supposed to do, what our roles are, what the end results should be, and what we are looking forward to achieve for the entire year. I know, as Mr. P.S. would have indicated, we would have had a lull last year. However, we are back with our agenda, and I think it is very important that we do this at the beginning of the year so that at least we know that what we are expecting to do for 2024. I also want to commend the presenters that we had this morning from the various departments, marine resources, agriculture, culture. I think they all did justice to the various departments. And based on what they would have said, based on the plans that would have been outlined, once we follow through and once we do what we are supposed to do as members of staff from these various departments, this ministry will be the most successful ministry for 2024. And those of you who know me and know me well know that I'm someone who is not all about talk. I like action. And so the talk that would have been provided here this morning with the work plans, I'm expecting action. I'm expecting action, and that action must come from all of us who are here and those who are not here as well. So I'm expecting all of us to take the message to those who are not here. I'm expecting the heads of the departments. I'm expecting the heads of the divisions to lead from the front. And so we can have that output and that productivity that is necessary for us to have a very successful year. And so I'm admonishing all of us to be unified in this effort to ensure that this ministry, agriculture, marine resources, cooperatives, lands, housing, culture, be the shining example for the Nevis Island administration for 2024 and beyond. Now, the theme that has been set for today's Agenda 2024, cultivating a culture of resilience for a sustainable Nevis. And I particularly like the theme. I love the theme, especially with the words resilience and sustainable. Now, we are part of a federation, and I'm sure most of us who have been in tune with what has been taking place in the federation over the years, or most recently over the past 2 years, we have heard so much about a resilient or a sustainable island state. And we here on the island of Nevis, we are very much part of that objective of becoming a sustainable island state. Almost every time when we hear the Prime Minister speak, almost every time when we hear the Minister of Environment in the federal government speak, we hear of the need for the development of a sustainable or the establishment of a sustainable island state. And we here on Nevis, we must be in tune with that. And I must say that the sector of agriculture will play a pivotal role in us attaining that objective, or us becoming a sustainable island state. Of course, when it comes to resilience, this ministry, or this department, or the departments that I'm a part of, I think we have been very resilient. Agriculture has been resilient over the years, very resilient. We have seen the resilience in the increase in production. We have seen the resilience in the fact that we have been able to attract more young people into the sector. We have seen the resilience in the number of activities that we've been having over the years. We have seen the resilience in the improvement in these activities. We have seen the resilience in the fact that more and more people, not only young people, are becoming attracted to agriculture, to fisheries, and to culture. And so the fact that we have been resilient over the years, what we need to do now and going forward is to build on that resilience. And once we build on that resilience, we will contribute to us, the Federation, becoming a sustainable island state. So I want us to bear that in mind at all times. Let us build on the resilience that we have and go forward to becoming a sustainable island state. Now, I'm going to touch briefly on a couple of the areas that the Permanent Secretary would have spoken about in terms of the theme of us being resilient and us becoming more sustainable. And quickly, I'm going to just touch on the issue of the climate-smart agriculture. Because we are living in a global village now, and we know what the influence of climate is on our activities, particularly in agriculture. And of course, we know that climate change is very real, and we must adapt to the issues of climate change, and we must be able to rise to the challenge. Whatever we do in these sectors, we must be able to ensure that we can resist what climate change is forcing upon us, and we can continue and increase our production. Now, we know, we have seen over the years, we have seen a lot more storms, We have seen the intensity of dry weather, of droughts. We have seen intense rainfall, even in the dry season sometimes. And generally, there's so many changes in the pattern of the weather. And we must be able to adapt to those changes. And so, as technicians, we must be able to take that message to our farmers in particular, to be able to combat the effects of climate change. We must be able to ensure that our farmers adopt practices. We must be ensured that our farmers probably build water catchment areas in times of drought. We must be able to ensure that our farmers are up to date with the technology, and of course with our fishermen as well, because we must be able to continue to build that resilience. So when the issues of climate change confront us, when the issues of climate change confront our farmers, that they are able to be resilient and they are able to ensure that irrespective of what the situation is, that production can continue, production can increase, and we can see an improvement in terms of the quality of our production. In terms of our farm buildings, we must ensure that they are flexible, can withstand wind. Of course, we know that we're into greenhouse technology, that the designs that are there, we're able to take them down in case of a storm, and so we must go with the tide. Whatever we do, we must have environmental sustainability at the forefront. In terms of our local food systems, when I was at the Ministry and the Department of Agriculture, I coined a term, and I'm happy that that term is used very often when we speak about agriculture. And that term is grow more of what we eat and eat more of what we grow. I could recall when I was the communications officer at the Department of Agriculture, I coined that term and I used it very often. And I'm happy that many of us, when we are speaking about agriculture now, we have adopted that term, grow more of what we eat and eat more of what we grow. It is important, Mr. Walwyn spoke about it in his motivational speech, to eat more closer to nature. And once we eat local, a lot of our locally produced products are far superior to what we get from overseas. They are healthier. They are more organic. And so we, in the department and this ministry, we must always be preaching that message of eating more local. When you go to the supermarkets, ask for the local products. When you go to the restaurants, ask whether or not, the hotels, whether or not how many of this in this plate is local. You can do that. They may not want to tell you, but you can do that. And so we are asking, the message has to come from us within this ministry. We must be preaching this message day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, that we must consume more of what we grow and grow more of what we consume. In so doing, we'll be helping the economy, we'll be helping our farmers, but of course the challenge will always be for our farmers, for our fishers, to be more consistent in terms of the production. You heard Mr. Walwyn say that sometimes he wants rotisserie chicken and he can't get. So the challenge is there. The challenge is there for us to grow more and have more local products available. You heard Mr. Liebert say when the persons come here for C50, we want to feed them with local products. We want them to get that local experience. When our tourists come from overseas, we want our tourists to get that local, authentic Nevision experience, and that includes our local products. And so the opportunity is there, members of staff, fisheries, agriculture, the opportunity is there, and we must capitalize on that opportunity. Of course, we have been speaking about our broiler production that we are pursuing relentlessly, and that, of course, that will add to our local products that we have in terms of the offering that we have here on the island of Nevis. And so, staff members, let us continue to preach that throughout 2024 and beyond. Grow more local, eat more local, and we will be healthier. In terms of innovation and technology, of course, we know that technology is the way to go. It is the way to go with everything, including agriculture and fisheries. And so I would want to see more innovation, more use of technology. We know that, of course, we know that we have been making some significant strides in greenhouse production. We want that to continue. So we want, whatever we do in agriculture, that we step up that technology. Even persons who are doing the field agriculture, you can have your systems in terms of drip irrigation, where you can stay at home and turn your drip on. You stay at home and turn it off. You don't have to go to the farm every time you want to turn on and turn off your drip irrigation. And so we want that increase and improvement in technology. And of course, that will always lead to better productivity as well and increased production. We want to see more intensive agriculture. Land is getting scarce on Nevis, believe it or not. We heard Mr. Maynard say that the PS promised him land. I don't know where the PS is going to get it from. I don't know if he's going to make it. Because land is becoming scarce on Nevis, that is a fact. Mr. Fleming, you may want to give us some of what you have in St. Kitts. I know you have a lot more in St. Kitts, and so you may want to lend us some or rent us some. I don't know if you can package some and send over here to us. But land is becoming a problem. It's becoming a problem for housing. I'm the Minister of Housing. It's becoming a problem for agriculture. I get calls ever so often. People want land for agriculture. I send them up to the ministry and to the department. A lot of the times, no land is available. And we have to, in this year as well, those persons who have land who are not using it, we have to free that up. Because ever since I was there, persons have this habit of holding on to land, not utilizing it, hoping down the road that they can be offered the land for sale or to purchase, you know. And so we must be strategizing in what we are doing in terms of ensuring that whatever land we have available, that is available for persons who want to utilize the land. And so we want to do more intensive agriculture. We heard about the piggery at Madden's. We want to do more intensive production with regards to small and large ruminants because the demand is there. And the demand will only get better because the people of Nevis are now catching on to that. Grow more of what you eat and eat more of what we grow. And people are now demanding more local products. And we must rise to that challenge of ensuring that we have the production, right? Of course, I would love to see our farmers, our fishers, adapting a more business approach to agriculture and to fishing. Over the years, we see a lot of our livestock farmers in particular, the small ruminant producers, they have hundreds of livestock, but they say they don't have any for sale. We must encourage our farmers to have that business approach. We have our allied agencies. We have 𝐂𝐮𝐥𝐭𝐢𝐲𝐶 who is here with us. We have 𝐂𝐮𝐥𝐿𝐴. We have other agencies that can help us to do training where that is concerned, to have that business approach. We must ensure that our farmers and our fishers are business people and not just doing it for the pastime and for the love of it. That can't bring you any money. It's a business. So we want that business approach. As we innovate and we increase our technology, we must ensure that we have that business approach. In terms of youth involvement, I'm one who always believed that we should inculcate in our young people the importance of agriculture and the importance of eating healthy. And we need to start down there. I was heartened last year when I would have visited the schools and see the involvement of our school children. I want that to continue. I would like that to see that increased. I see practically all of our primary schools involved. I would love to see more involvement at the secondary school level as well. I would even want to see maybe a little introduction at the preschool level, if they have land available. And so we must ensure that at all times our young people are involved in agriculture. Let them start from down there. I was so happy when I saw the enthusiasm generated from our school children last year. We want that to continue. We want that competition to continue, that school agro competition, to cultivate that spirit within our young people. And so we would want that to continue in 2024 and beyond. In terms of community engagement, I think that the Ministry and the Department of Agriculture, we've had an excellent relationship with the community. We've had a good reputation. You heard about the programs we normally have, the Agri Expo, the activities for Agriculture Awareness Month, the activities for World Food Day, the Fruit Festival, and we must continue to engage the community. We must absolutely continue. And when we do these things as well, we must try to get feedback. Try to get feedback from the general public. Try to get feedback from the community. Let us continue to collaborate. I don't want to be too long, but I must bring something else to the table. I was very happy when Mr. Liebert, when he spoke about culture, spoke about the importance of challenging our farmers and fishers and so on to make sure that we have local products. But I want to just reiterate the fact that this year, between July and August, we're expecting to see hundreds, if not thousands, of persons, Nevisians in the diaspora and visitors alike, descend on the shores of Nevis for Culturama 50 and Homecoming. It will be a historic event, and all of us must rise to the challenge of that historic event. I've spoken to numerous persons in the diaspora, Nevisians, and they have told me that they don't want to be disappointed when they come to Nevis. And so, the challenge is ours to ensure that they are not disappointed when they come to Nevis. I have been speaking about Culturama 50 for some time now, since last year, since we had Culturama 49. As a matter of fact, persons told me that I spoke more about Culturama 50 than Culturama 49. Yeah, people told me that. When we were speaking about Culturama 49, I was accosted. People said, "You're not focusing on this year, you're focusing too much on Culturama 50." Right? And so a lot of what was said by me for Culturama 49, I focused a lot on Culturama 50. And since then, I've been saying it practically every opportunity I get. I've been speaking about Culturama 50 because it's going to be a huge event. And all of us, once again, must rise to the challenge to ensure that when the visitors and our returning nationals come to Nevis, that they get the experience of a lifetime. The Culturama Secretariat and the NCDF and the all other areas that are involved in culture and Culturama, we will be working overtime to ensure that people get the experience that they will never, ever, ever forget. And I'm going to make the pitch here once again. I am going to encourage persons who are in the diaspora, who haven't purchased their tickets yet, who haven't put in their vacation yet. You're behind the ball. You are behind. You need to start making plans for your accommodation here. You need to start making plans for your car rental here. You need to start making plans to be here. And we don't want you to just come for the last weekend, because a lot of people have this habit of coming for the last weekend. We want you to come for the entire package. 25th of July to the August the 6th. I am confident that when persons come for 𝐶𝐿turama 50, that they will want to come back for 𝐶𝐿turama 51. Right? But I want to throw out a challenge here. And I want the staff of the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries to listen very carefully. I want to throw out a special challenge to my staff. And I'm happy that we are all in the same boat, agriculture, fisheries, and culture. Even though there was a little thing there between Randy and Abo, we are in the same boat. We're a team, right? In this ministry, 𝐶𝐿turama will be hosted, spearheaded by this ministry. And I want the players in this ministry to work very closely together. Because I want the authentic Nevision experience that our visitors, our Nevisians and visitors will get, that agriculture and fisheries are an integral part of that authentic Nevision experience. Hear me carefully. There's an opportunity. Now, I am happy that I am part of an administration that believes in not only talk, but walking the walk and in action. We have been saying over and over again, every opportunity I get, whether it's in the House, whether in the Parliament, in 𝐶𝐿𝐿, whether it's on radio, whether it's any of these functions, I have been blowing the trumpet of agriculture and saying how far we have come and saying all of what we have done. And you know what? The evidence is there on the ground. I want, when our returning nationals come home, and some of them haven't been here for 20, 30 years, and they're coming for 𝐶𝐿turama 50. So many of them are not aware of what is happening on this beautiful island of Nevis. And I want, when our returning nationals come, when our visitors come, they can know what is happening. They can get an experience. Last year, I was delighted and I bragged about it, and all of us should have bragged about it. We had visitors here. We had our Farmers Consortium from St. Kitts. We had visitors from Anguilla. We had visitors from Antigua. We had visitors from other islands, neighboring islands. And they were impressed with what we're doing. I want, when our visitors come from the US, from Europe, from across the region, that when they leave the shores of Nevis, they can brag about what they see and what they experience. I want, when our returning nationals and visitors come, that they're not going only to Charlestown, to the 𝐶𝐿turama events. I want them to experience agriculture and fisheries. And so the challenge is, staff, that our department will organize some agricultural tours, paid of course, doesn't have to be expensive, for our return. Because people will come, but if they don't see what is happening, they can't talk about the evidence. I want us to develop some tours. And those tours should include places like open field agriculture, the experience with our shade houses. Of course, you do the primary production, the agro-processing center, the Lawrence and Parry Depot, the abattoir, the fisheries complex, and probably a visit to one of our schools. Have a nice package put together where you can sell our returning nationals, our visitors, and of course when you go to some of these areas you could get some sampling and maybe get a little package when you leave. But I think this is an excellent opportunity that has presented itself for us to sell agriculture and fisheries. And when they leave, when our visitors and our returning nationals leave, they can be on the same page and said agriculture has moved in leaps and bounds on the island of Nevis. We have the PS of tourism here. We can collaborate with tourism. We can collaborate with the Culture Secretariat and NCDF and provide that experience. I want it to happen. And it can happen. It can happen. Let our returning nationals and visitors see what is happening on the island. Of course, I forgot to mention the Indian Castle Fruit Orchard. How could I forget that? How could I forget that? They can go there, get the experience of picking a fruit, get the experience of walking away with a little package of fruit when they leave, drinking a jelly if they're ready, you know? Because a lot of the times people come and they want to experience something different, eh? They want to experience something different. I think we are sitting on a golden opportunity here. And Mr. PS, Mr. Director, Mr. Deputy Director, and all of us who are here, let us put our heads together. I think this is a glorious opportunity where we might be the first in the region to sell agricultural tours. And down the road, we can sell it to our hotels as well. When the tourists come, let them get an agricultural experience. Some of them have never been on a farm. And so I am throwing that challenge out to you, and I'm expecting us to act on that challenge. And so I think I've spoken long enough, but I wanted to get that particular one in, because I think, as I said, it's an excellent opportunity. Once again, I want to congratulate all of the presenters. I think we're off to an excellent start here, and if we can do what we have to do, this ministry can be a shining example of people who come together, people who are united, people who work, and once we work, we will get results. Once again, I want to wish everyone a very successful, productive, prosperous 2024. Let us do it together. We can do it together. Thank you very much.